Well, hey folks, Species7 here. Welcome back to the channel, and welcome back to Farm Sim 17. And we are here on Spectacle Island, of course. And I'm just out collecting nuggets because, well, quite frankly, you can hardly see the map. There are so many of them. And I ran across something I'd heard about, and we're going to go have a look at. There's a nugget here that I think there's somebody watching it. You hear him? Yeah. Let's go have a look. Be very careful. Look at him. There we are. And he's guarding his giant gold nugget. Oh, and a couple of cubs. There we go. So, there you are. There's your ferocious brown bear and her little cubs. So we'll leave her alone now and head back to the farm. So there you go. There are wild, dangerous creatures about here on Spectacle Island. So, alright, so what have we done? Well, we've added a couple of things. This is going to be fairly common for the first couple of episodes as I get the map. Well, you know, I like to put placeable things down and mess with this, that, and t'other thing. So, we have the little unit here that I've used before that will turn our grass, etc., into various useful things like silage and also fertilizer and, fuel and digestate. So, we have another plant that will take stuff and turn it into fertilizer. So, which is kind of this guy here. See, we put the digestate in here, and out comes fertilizer. So, with that in mind, I tried to put a ramp down here. Unfortunately, I haven't tried it yet. It might be close enough for the property to dump chips. We'll have to see. If not, I'll end up dumping them in the main silo, I guess, until I have usage of them. And we can keep that set up for trees. So since we do have the fertilizer... Oh, I forgot to give the chickens water when I was doing this yesterday. I just realized. I think this might be water here, actually. So... see that, or it's a really nasty fuel setup. It is fuel. There you go. Oops. Alright, let's continue on. So, yeah, we've got to get some water to our chickens. Otherwise, they're not exactly going to be happy breeders. But as you can see, I've cleaned the nuggets off the farm at least, so we can see the farm area in a little more clarity. And I have put storage for seed and fertilizer right here. We can dump here, we can pick up there, and we can see what we've got. So, now that says seeds, but it's supposed to take seeds and fertilizer. So there you go. The pig food tank I put down on the next level, and I have given our wee grunties a bit of it. So, what we need to do today, however, well, besides give the chickens a bit of water, that probably wouldn't hurt. But first off, what I'd like to do I'm not used to this articulated thing. I always use the all-wheel steering model. Unfortunately, it is not MR. go. Let's load up our big stump cutter. Alright, let's have a look at things here, shall we? Now, 1411. Those are our closest fields. So let's go have a look at those. Shall we? There we go. Whoa. Cut that corner a bit tight. I forgot it's got the bit sticking out. There, maybe we'll see better from in here. Yeah, whoa, really not used to running this thing. It's going to take some getting used to. Boy, I spoiled myself with the all-wheel steer, let me tell you. Alright, so let's have a look at our fields here and decide what is what and what we're going to do with what. So that's one there, and that's one there. Where are the entrances? Okay. Right here is the entrance for one. Okay. Do-do-do-do-do-do. Indeed. So it looks like it starts about here. And we'll just mark that guy. And then if we run way off in this direction, so we'll mark this guy. Hoo-yah. Did you mark? Yes, you did. And let's continue along. We'll mark this one. And this guy is the other outside border. Boom chakalaka. Now let's head this way. And it looks like we're going to be hitting this guy. No, this guy. This guy. This the one, man. Hoo-yah. Was I close enough? Yep. Okay. And if we follow down, that makes this tree here the back marker, right? Or is it this one? I'm thinking they both gotta go. Boom. And yeah, I think this one's kind of outside the range. Maybe this guy. So there. Okay. There. And that's about it. Alright. So. Let's mark him. And this one. Okay, this is going to be way too close, so we're going to knock that guy down too. So there we go. We have our borders. We do indeed have our borders. So, let's see here. Boom chakalaka boom. Alrighty. So I think this would be the next marked, is it? Nope. Oh, there we are. I almost forgot. set my sawdust levels. There we go. Let's try that again. You know, one thing I've always thought is missing, and I've never seen it on any map. When you cut down a tree, now, we're not alone here in the forest, so the theory should be, it should make a sound. You know? Alright, I think these guys are all outside of the property, so these are inside, but these aren't my markers. This is. Okay. So let's twitch you over. Boom chakalaka boom. Like, I would love it if there was a great crashing noise as they hit the ground, you know? But, hey, I'm also the first one that complains about some of the sounds on the game, so there you are. Alrighty. So, starting our first field, eh? Not quite as strenuous as the World Challenge for starting a field, but we are going to end up having to knock down a few trees. Because everything inside of these borders has to come down. Alright, now, you are just simply a free tree, aren't you? Yep, you are. Alright, let's head along the border here and see how we do. Oh, Dexter, what is the matter, my little friend? So the more that I look for a vehicle, and some of you that have been following the channel realize I've sort of been doing that for a little while now, as I don't really want to spend another summer stuck here. And by here, I mean inside my apartment as opposed to out like fishing and such. So, but I gotta say, you know, the more that I look around, see if we can't get there a little quicker without a chainsaw. The more that I look around, the more that I become discouraged with the whole affair. Not just simply trying to find something or within my price or any of that, but you know, I look at a vehicle and there's blah, 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 you know, needs O2 sensor, tune-up, yada, yada. Well, you know, because, I mean, if you're going to buy something perfect, you're going to pay for perfect. And, well, maybe in a real world I could afford to pay for perfect, but not the one I live in. Oh, wait, I do live in the real world. Okay, maybe I can't afford to pay for perfect. But, you know, and I look at it and I go, you know, when I was younger, I did a lot of the work myself on vehicles. In fact, pretty much everything. You know, from replacing the camshaft with a lumpier version in my Jimmy down to, you know, the entire front end and four-wheel drive system and on and on and on. And always did that. Same thing with the Jeep. I did a lot of the work myself. But again, with the old bones not being cooperative. Now, why are you not coming down? I'm going to take you down even though you're unmarked. You know that? Yeah, with them not being all that cooperative, it sort of makes me realize that plus vehicles are so complicated that there's a lot of work that I really can't do on vehicles anymore. I mean, you need to plug them in, you need to be able to diagnose and blah, blah, blah. It's not like, you know, the old days where you open the hood of your vehicle and there was an engine. Now you can barely find the engine in amongst all the other junk. But that and the fact that anything that's even reasonable on fuel, you know, or anything else, is rather unreasonable on price. You know, it's like you have to pay a punishment for having something that's actually going to be in any way efficient. And it's got me thinking. I've been looking around on the Amazon, a place I like to do my shopping. Living in such a small, isolated town, we have not quite as much as one might expect available to us. And I'm rather intrigued by a lot of the electric vehicles that are around. And no, I'm not talking a Tesla. Obviously, if I could afford a Tesla, I could afford a decent vehicle. But, things like electric bikes, electric scooters, that sort of thing. You know, and there are some of them that are rather intriguing. Now, again, they're not cheap. They're certainly cheap compared to, you know, buying even a used vehicle in good condition that's going to be efficient. You know, like, I was looking at one. Now, granted, it is going to end up, by the time the smoke clears with tax and shipping and everything else, you know, you're looking at $1,000 vehicle. And it is basically, well, a glorified skateboard. I mean, it has a seat and such, but, you know, not something you'd actually use if you were looking for comfort. Okay, so we've got our borders marked out. Now I just got to knock down everything inside these borders. But yeah, it's got a 1500 watt electric motor in it. It basically looks like a fat skateboard with handlebars and a seat. There isn't much more to it than that. It has full suspension, front and rear, riding on, I think it's like 12-inch knobbies, which is certainly large for even scooter-style things. It'll do 50k, and it'll go about 40 kilometers on a single charge. And that's with no input from me other than turning the throttle handle. And that's with someone in at 100 kilograms. I'm a little lighter than that, thankfully. I think you two are within the boundaries. So yeah, full suspension. It actually doesn't run off lithium ion either. It runs off of, well, it's 48 volts, so 4 12-volt batteries, lead acids. Nice thing about that, of course, is that lead acid batteries have a much deeper cycle to them. In other words, they will actually run longer under strain than a lithium battery will. And they'll also allow you that last bit of use. You know, lithium-ion batteries, of course, to keep them functional, they have to be a little bit smart. And generally what that means is when you get down to about, you know, X number of volts, depending on the size of the battery, it will automatically shut down your device. You know, even if there's still, you know, a quarter of the battery's power left, if it drops below a certain point, as I say, it will just simply shut the device off, and there's not a darn thing you can do. Whereas those of us that have dealt with lead-acid batteries, i.e. pretty much everyone that owns a car that's not a Tesla, would realize that the nice thing about a lead-acid battery is it will continue to put out current until, well, basically there is just absolutely none left. Not to mention the replacement costs compared to lithium ion is just stupidly cheap. But yeah, so you're not, you know, you're not going to suddenly be zipping along and click, the power shuts off. You know, it'll just go slower and slower and slower until you finally realize, I gotta get home. So, but I'm definitely giving it really, really solid consideration. You know. Now, the downside is it, of course, is that should something go wrong, it's not like you just simply go to the nearest garage, you know, and go, hey, fixie my car. Because, it's not that sort of thing. Now, this one, however, being all made of metal with, you know, fairly skookum suspension components and a lot of things that are easy to deal with, most of the work can be done yourself. And not being a huge vehicle with super heavy parts, even a gimpy old bugger like me can, you know, get at it. Now, I don't know what I'm supposed to do with this. Did you guys see this? Right in the middle of my field, man. There's this giant rock. Well, there goes my chainsaw blade. I think I want to lay you out. Yeah, that way'll do. So yeah, it's something I am giving serious consideration to. Now, I guess the other downside, of course, is that you are talking about a vehicle that's open to the weather. So obviously, certain times of year, it's not going to be as practical as other times. You know, a day like today, sure, or the last 3 weeks for that matter. You know, but we get, you know, 3-4 months of really beautiful sunny weather here. And we get, you know, 3-4 months of pretty much guaranteed rain, and then, you know, 4 to 6 months of, well, it'll probably rain at least every second day. You know, and that becomes our sort of winter and fall and spring mosh. So it does mean a lot of rainy day riding. Now, I mean, I rode motorcycle for years. But I was a little younger, you know. I'm about as close to 60 as you can get without being 60, so not a young fella anymore. You know, having the bone issues and such. Cold, damp weather isn't exactly my best friend, but you can always outdress it. I don't know. As I said, it's just something I've been thinking about. I think it's just so neat, some of the stuff that's out there these days. You know, as far as personal transport goes. Alright, I think, oops. I was going to say, I think we're just about there. I guess I want to go, okay, about this way with this guy. And I've got another one that's marked just over there. I'm hoping most of this other stuff is going to disappear with plowing. Like, I'm hoping things like these little bushes aren't going to be like they were on World Challenge, where they're the top of trees that are going to need some... You know, they don't seem to have any reaction at all to a chainsaw. Alright, we're going to want you coming down this way. But then again, the tree on the Death Road, I didn't have any reaction to a chainsaw, but I've been told people have cut it down. So, that's alright. I've got something up my sleeve for that, too. Alright, now I think that should pretty much be the inside dimensions of our field. Although I kind of wonder about this guy, eh? Yeah, you're definitely in the middle of the field, fella. Alright. Well, I also found a place to put the corn distillery. It is, oh, by the way, when I went to place it on our placeable area there, it gives you a really good indicator of how big that thing actually is, because of course it shows the border of it before you put it down. These are in the middle of the field as well. So it's about, to give you an idea, 2.5 times, like the footprint on it is about 2.5 times the size of our entire placeable area, where I have 3 complete placeables now put in. And not small stuff either, as you guys saw. So, yeah, I don't know why it's as big as it is. It seems like it was designed so that it can go on pretty much any terrain. Because if you look at it where... The reason it showed up so well on the placeable, of course, is because it drops off 20 feet on every side. So the bits that hung over actually showed the entire platform. And it's ramped all the way around. Well, that was interesting. I laid that right across 2 other trees. I don't usually do that. Alright, that, I believe, guys, has cleared the entire field. So... interesting. Now, of course, I got to cut all of these up. So, but I think that'll be next time. As I said, I'm assuming all of this stuff like this is going to go away when I plow. So once we remove the stumps, we should be good to go. Of course, I got to do the same thing here, but we're going to do one field at a time. One field at a time. But I got to say, the map certainly looks a little cleaner with at least this end of it clear of these things. I've still got to do a lot of picking up over on the other places, but like I said, at least our farm area, in fact, most of our island, apparently I only missed 2, is done. So, cool. But there you go, guys. A little bit shorter episode, but only by a few minutes. So I do hope everyone enjoyed. And, well, I guess with that said, take care of each other, folks. And ciao for now. This is not a wheat field. I don't know why it keeps telling me it is. Oh, I bought 9 more pigs and delivered them. So we now have 18 piggies. Alright, guys. Ciao.